to my fourth corner in this draft, and it is Jaycee Horn, the son of former Pro Bowl wide receiver Joe Horn. Jaycee Horn is a guy that continues to mature and grow. I think he's got a lot of room for growth. I think there are some limitations to his game, some things he's got to clean up, which is why he's my fourth corner in this draft. But make no mistake about it, the guy is uber talented, and I like his game a lot. So let's take a look at Jaycee Horn and flip his card over and see what attributes he brings to the table and what he could be in this league. So first thing I take a look at with him is he's a height, weight, speed specimen. And I've talked about that various times tonight with the corners in this draft, and add him to the list of guys that come in at over 6 feet tall, over 200 pounds, and running a sub 4.5 40. I mean, again, anybody that's 6 feet or better, 200 pounds or better, and runs a sub 4.5, you're a height, weight, speed specimen. Because to me, the baseline at the cornerback position, if you're coming in, is, look, you're 6 feet, 195 pounds, and if you run a 4.52, okay, that's cool. You know, that's cool. You can get away with that. If you know what you're doing, you can get away with that. When you're 6'1", 205, and you run a 4.39 40 or 4.41, which is what he ran at his pro day, a 4.39 is what he was hand timed at. So 4.31, 4.39, or 4.41, whatever the hell it is, it's blazing fast. You say, okay, this guy checks off all the boxes. He's a height, weight, speed specimen. He's got athleticism. You got 11.1 broad. You got a 41.5-inch vert. And you see it on the field. All this stuff translates. You see him on the field utilizing all of these traits. So this is a guy that has the athleticism to match the frame. And now the question is, do you get the physicality? Is he a tackler? Does he make plays on the football? These are the things you have to look at after that. And that's what we're going to get into here. He's a physical football player in coverage. At the line of scrimmage, he wants to lay hands on you. 5 yards up the field, he wants to lay hands on you. 10 yards up the field, he wants to lay hands on you. 25 yards down the field, he wants to lay hands on you. He's a physical football player. He's very, very handsy, as I like to call it. He's very, very touchy-feely. He wants to know where you are at all times. He wants to grab, he wants to tug, he wants to hug, he wants to love. And sometimes you're like, hey, man, Jaycee, get off me, bruh. Stop touching me. But that's a part of his game. It's what makes him what he is as a corner, is that he's a nuisance. He's always on you. He's in your face. He's on you. You smell his breath. You feel it on the back of your neck. You're like, bro, back up. He's not giving you that kind of space to operate. CNC ability. He's got that click and close. There's no free lunches around Jaycee Horn. Of all the corners in this draft, he's the one guy where I can truly say there are no free lunches. Now, if he's playing off coverage, totally different story. Okay? He's not as gifted off as he is from press, man. You put him in somebody's face, you delete the airspace, and this brother is not going to allow you to breathe. Everything is contested. As a wise man once told me, nothing slides. And the reason that is because he can stick his foot in the ground and drive on anything underneath. Click and close ability. Competitiveness at the point of catch. I don't know if there's a corner in this draft more competitive at the point of catch than Jaycee Horn. And that's saying a lot because I think a lot of these guys in this draft are super competitive at the point of catch. I mean, really going after it, really scraping, scratching, clawing. Even after the ball is caught, guys on the ground and they still reaching and trying to pull it out. Play's over, bruh. You lost that rep. It's okay. Still in there trying to grab it and rip it out. He's super competitive at the point of catch. Sometimes to a fault. He's got recovery speed. When you run a 4.39, you better have recovery speed. He's got it. He can get beat on something, and if it's underthrown or it's slightly underthrown, he can get back into play and make up for it. Seen him do it a couple of times on tape. He's a capable blitzer. This was a guy that started out at South Carolina as a nickel corner. Only the last 2 years has he been playing outside with the big boys. He was more of a nickel early in his career. So he was a guy that would blitz, which is why you see the sack numbers the first 2 years of his career that he had sacks. He had 2 sacks in 2018. He had a sack in 2019. And towards the midpoint of the 2019 season, he made the switch to outside and he never looked back. And so there are no sacks this year. Not as adept from blitzing from distance as he was in the slot as a blitzer. But that just goes to show you, you can move this guy around because he did play in the nickel. You can play him in the nickel at times if you got to move him around, and you can blitz him from there, and he's a capable blitzer. Versatility, I just told you why he's a versatile defender. He can move all around the field. He can move to the left side. He can move to the right side. He can move inside. You know, there are corners where they pick a spot and they get comfortable. You know, you're watching Patrick Surtain II at times, and he doesn't move from the left side of the offensive formation, right side of the defense. He's right side. He's RCB, right cornerback, and he doesn't move. You know where to find him. And then there are times where he's just LCB. He's the left corner, and he's not moving. But all these guys move around. All these guys have the versatility to play man or zone. I think he's a lot better in press man than he is off in zone coverage. I don't think he's as good in off. So there is a little bit of a lack of versatility from that standpoint, but you still get the ability to kick outside, go inside, and move around and do a number of different things. So there is versatility with Jaycee Horn. I've already mentioned the bloodlines, but I'll mention it once again. His dad, Joe Horn, played in the league for a number of years, played his best football in New Orleans with the Saints, also played with the Chiefs, among other teams, and had a very, very quality NFL career. And so here's his offspring in the league looking to make a mark. And then upside. The reason that there's upside, I told you I don't like using the U word very often because you could throw that around for just about every prospect coming into the league because nobody thinks that the guy that they're getting is a finished product. So you think there's upside, definitely. But some guys are in clear packaging. Some of these players are in clear packaging, and when you get it, you know exactly what you're getting. You can look through the packaging and know exactly what you're getting. This is a guy where the packaging isn't clear. You can't see inside because he's just really scratching the surface as a boundary corner. This is not something he's been doing for 3 years like Patrick Surtain II. This isn't something he's been doing his entire collegiate career. He has been playing corner, but not outside. There are different rules and parameters when you go outside. It's not like playing inside. All right, it's a lot more physical. The game is a lot faster out there. Yeah, you're dealing with a lot less space to cover, but he's still learning the nuances of being outside. And so I think there is some upside. I think there is more growth for Jaycee Horn. So I do think there's upside there. His weaknesses, only 2 career interceptions. So that makes you question, does this guy have ball skills? We're talking about 23 pass breakups in his career, only 2 interceptions. I'll take it a step forward because if there were 2 interceptions, one this year, one last year, would we really bring this up? No. Here's the thing. The guy didn't have any interceptions the first 2 years of his career. And then he gets 2 interceptions this year, and he gets them both in the same game against Auburn. So essentially what I'm telling you is he played in 30 games, and he only had an interception in 1 game. 2 of them in 1 game. What happened in the other 29 games that you couldn't get your hands on a football and make plays? So that's where you start. And it's not because he can't catch. Because if you look at those interceptions, one in particular, like, that's a hell of a catch, man. He can catch the football. He's just got to locate it, and that's where we're going now. The very next weakness, inconsistent LLCer, and he's handsy. Why is he handsy? Because he's not confident. Why is he not confident? And he's a hell of a confident player. He's cocky even, borderline arrogant, okay? But the reason, not because of his mentality. in his mind, he's the best thing smoking. His shit does not stink in his mind. However, as a corner, you grab because you're not sure. You grab because you're not confident. You don't know. If I know where the ball is, I don't have to grab you. I'm going after the football. I don't need to grab you. If I see the ball, I'm going to go get the ball. If I don't know where the ball is and you look like you're reacting for the football, I panic. I get nervous. I'm going to start grabbing cloth because I don't really know where the ball is. I know you're closer to it than I am. I got to make sure you don't catch it. And I got to do whatever I got to do to make sure you don't catch it. And if that means grabbing you by the jersey, if that means slapping your arms down before the ball gets there, whatever it takes, I got to do that. And hopefully I don't get caught with my hand in the cookie jar and I get away with it and I'm able to go incomplete and spread my arms and I don't see yellow laundry on the field and I can feel good about myself. His problem is he doesn't look back for the ball enough. He doesn't look back for the ball enough. He does. Sometimes. Not enough. And the only reason he's so high on my list, being an inconsistent LLCer, is because the raw attributes, the raw skills and abilities are off the charts. They're off the charts. The competitiveness, the physicality at the line of scrimmage, the competitiveness at point of catch, the raw ability, 6'1", 205, 4'3", 940, all of these things you can't teach. So there's so much of that you say, hey, if I could just get this kid to look back. And sometimes these corners are taught at school. Don't look back for the ball. Play the man. Play his eyes. See when the ball's coming through his mannerisms, and that's how you make a play. Some of these guys are taught that. Play through the man. He needs to look back for the football. LLC, look, locate, contest. He doesn't do that consistently enough. And that makes him handsy because he panics. And you see it because this guy is flagged a ton. You can't watch a game with Jaycee Horn in it without him getting 1 or 2 flags, minimum. I watched 4 or 5 games. I totaled at least 7 or 8 penalties on him alone. And I love the reaction every time. Like, I didn't do nothing. Come on, bruh. Come on, bruh. Stop. I just watched you molest this man for 9 yards. You really gonna sit here with a straight face, shaking your dreads, telling me you didn't do nothing? Come on, man. Stop it. Stop. Seriously, stop. Stop. I tell my son that all the time. Stop. So he's gonna have to clean that up. He's going to have to clean that up. His change of direction isn't the cleanest. He can get stuck sometimes. And a lot of times when he gets beat underneath is because he opens up his hips in one direction, tries to stop, turn, pivot to the other direction, and he can't do it fast enough. You know, when you watch Kyle Pitts beat him on a slant, that's what just happened. Couldn't turn and get out of his, plant fast enough to be able to make a play. When you see him get beat by Devontae Smith in 2019 on a slant, same thing. The Devontae Smith sells him outside. He opens up his hips. He then breaks inside. He can't get his foot out of the ground fast enough to turn and make a play. So his change of direction, not always the cleanest. It's not always problematic. But when he gets beat, it's usually one of the things you can trace it back to. And then finally, tackling issues. For him to be as big and physical as he is with these receivers at the line of scrimmage, you don't necessarily see that in him tackling. Like, it's a lot of olays going on. It's a lot of me ducking. I'm going to duck my head and I hope I hit him going on. And you're like, hey, bro, you got to clean that shit up. You got to be better than that. You can't be a top corner in this league, and that's the effort I'm getting out of you as a tackler. We can't let, 4-yard hitches turn into 14-yard gains because you decided you were going to cut him and not see it, and then he just simply jumped inside of you and you go flying towards the sidelines without even touching him. So he's gonna have to be better tackling. But at the end of the day, Jaycee Horn is a talent. There's no mistaking that. I think he's a top 20 talent in this draft. I think that I would take several corners, a few corners actually above him, which is why he's fourth on my list. But I think he's worthy of a top 20 selection, and I think he will be selected in the top 20 of this draft. And I comp into Xavier Roads. I see a lot of Xavier Roads in him. Xavier Roads is a guy that when he was at his best in this league, roads were closed. All roads closed. You remember saying that. And Xavier Roads picked up a ton of penalties in this league. And he'd always turn around, me? Who, me? Yes, you, Xavier. Literally, you'd be in a jail cell if we were out on the street because you just assaulted that receiver. What do you mean, who, me? Same thing with Jaycee Horn. Sometimes you get away with it. Sometimes you don't. He doesn't get away with it a lot of times. Neither does Xavier Roads. They really feel like the same player to me. So, we can only hope he turns into Xavier Roads 2.0 because, again, it was a small window, but for like a 2-year stretch in the league, Xavier Roads was one of the best corners in all of football. So we'll see if Jaycee Horn can become that in this league. He is currently my 4th cornerback in the 2021 NFL draft.
Louie.